I recently received my new Lenovo Legion 5 Pro, so I thought I'd share my initial impressions. The Lenovo Legion 5 Pro is the top tier line of Lenovo's new PCs with the latest Ryzen processors and the RTX 30 series graphics cards from NVIDIA. My model has the Ryzen 5800H together with the RTX 3070 and 16 GB of RAM. Specific details on the model can be found elsewhere. In this video, I'll mostly be talking about my impressions rather than listing an endless list of features and specs. This thing feels solid. Despite that it's not milled from a single piece of aluminum, like for instance the Razer Blade or MacBooks, it still feels like a tank. When looking at the device, it resembles a mix between a modern warfare tank and a fighter jet. It strikes a delicate balance between a machine for gamers and professional creators. On the outside, its aesthetics are definitely gamer, but once it's opened, it looks like a professional ThinkPad laptop. This is a heavy laptop. The product page says thin and light, but that's an overstatement. I've been used to carrying a Razer Blade from 2018 plus its power supply daily. That's 2.5 kilograms. That was okay, but this thing, it feels heavy. It comes in at about 2.6 kilograms just for the PC, and the power supply is about 1 kilogram, so it brings it up to 3.6 kilograms. Talking about the power supply, it's big. Here it is together with my previous Razer Blade power supply and a regular thin and light ThinkPad power supply. The screen is one of the highlights of this machine. It's a QHD screen at 165 Hz refresh rate, which is a great bump up from the 60 Hz refresh rate screens that are in regular laptops and previous gamer laptops. The 16:10 aspect ratio makes it better suited for professional use as it gives more real estate, for instance when programming. It is also pleasantly bright at 500 nits with a matte front, which makes it suitable to be used in almost any situation. In short, this is a great screen, both for gaming and productivity. Next up is the keyboard. This has the typical ThinkPad Smart keycaps, which are always great to type on, and that is the case here too. The only annoyance I've had so far is that the Enter key is a tad small and located very close to the numpad area. This has led me more than once to hit the numpad keys rather than Enter. I guess it will take a bit of time to adjust to this, but otherwise the layout is great. Especially for programming, it is great to have separate arrow keys. The keyboard deck itself has minimal flex, however, just above the touchpad there is a bit of flex, but nothing that I've noticed while typing. The trackpad itself is very good, it has a smooth feeling to it, and it uses Microsoft's precision driver, which always gives a great response. The mechanical left and right clicks do feel a bit cheap, but other than that, the trackpad is definitely approved. The I/O on this machine is overall great. Most of the I/O is located on the back, so the wire clutter is hidden behind the machine. However, it would have been nice with a dedicated display port, but it is still available through the USB-C outputs on the machine. The speakers sound crisp and rich, and they have a great filling sound overall. The lowest frequencies are missing though, but I guess it's also difficult to recreate these properly in laptops. Overall, the sound is very much accepted, and the speakers can also go quite loud. With no doubt, this laptop is a powerhouse. In 3D Mark TimeSpy, it scores a comfortably high score, thanks to its Max-P GPU, which enables the full power of the RTX 3070. In Cinebench, the Ryzen 5800H likewise performs great with a multi-core performance that dwarfs even previous generation's desktop parts. Editing 4K videos is no problem, and previewing renders in DaVinci Resolve is almost instantaneous. The Lenovo Legion 5 Pro is quite silent during light tasks and when in silent mode. There are 3 default power profiles: silent, balanced and performance. The center power button acts as an indicator for the mode by switching the color. While it can be silent, the fans can definitely also ramp up. But this is a low frequency hum that is tolerable. In an office environment, this laptop would do fine in silent mode, but I could imagine some raised eyebrows if it spins up the fans to the max. So finally, who is it for and is it worth it? I wouldn't recommend this laptop to commuters that need to bring it daily. It's simply a bit too heavy. Rather, I would recommend it for people who occasionally needs to bring the laptop, but otherwise has it docked in a desktop setup. For gamers, the non-pro version of Lenovo's lineup is probably a better value, but for creators and programmers who needs the power, this could be a great choice. On that note, I would probably recommend going for the model with the RTX 3060, as it is considerably cheaper, and with the RTX 3070, this laptop almost seems overpowered. Personally, I bought this computer for game development VR, and I'm happy to say that it has plenty of power for VR. Half-Life Alyx runs at 90 frames per second on ultimate settings. I'll mostly be using this as a desktop setup, but I prefer to have the portability of a laptop rather than having a desktop PC. And that does it for this first impressions video. I hope it was useful for you.